Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Earlier today, I made a video on like a ribbon, and I thought, how cool would it be to have it in a circle? There's only a few kind of like steps you want to take when you're doing something like this. Draw a circle or an ellipse with holding down the control button and make it perfectly round. Control D and make a duplicate holding down the shift key and make it grow outwardly. You don't have to do this, but I find it's probably easier to take and go to effects and blend, and we're going to blend one time. That put a line right in the middle between the two. Go to arrange and break the blend apart. Now we're going to draw a 2-point line and hold down the control button so it's perpendicular, and then hit P and put it in the center of the page, and let's rotate it 45 degrees. You know what? Let's rotate it 22.5. And then Control D and mirror it. So now we have this space to work with. We could probably actually cut away that inside line so it doesn't interfere. Well, you know what? Let's leave that line. Let's cut all the other lines away. So now we just have this one line. We'll take the shape tool and grab that line, and we're going to select all the 3 nodes, and we're going to go right here and we're going to add nodes. And you can add as many or a few as you want. They're already a curve because you can see this line is converted to a straight line. So now we're just going to take one of them. And you don't want too much, but you don't want them perfect either. You maybe want one a little higher than the other one, and just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control D or hit my plus key on the keyboard, and I'm going to move it downwardly and outwardly. Now, don't worry that they're not touching right now. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Whoa, cut too much. Delete that line. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to take now, and we're going to take this part, and we're going to kind of go over to that line and maybe give it a little bit of a curve. You want it kind of surpassing that other line or crossing that line. Now, before we do anything else, we need to match it up is what I call. So I'm going to Control G to group, Control D to duplicate. I'm going to double click on the rotation. I'm going to move it to the center of the page. Well, it doesn't look like it's going there. So sometimes I'll come off. I don't know that I'm working in the center of the page. Bring in my indexing lines and hit P. Yeah, I'm in the center of the page. So maybe the indexing lines now will help me, and it did. Now I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. And this is what I call matching up. You need to match up these lines with this side. So when we're going to go to arrange, group, and ungroup it. And we're going to take this node and put it here. And then we're going to put that node there. I don't really like the way it's conforming, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a curve there. Now what we can do is delete this one and Control D to make a duplicate. And it's still at the center of the page. Nope, because we grouped it. You know what? We need to group it. Control G to group. You know what? I might have 2 copies. Nope. You know what? I think I do have 2 copies. There we go. Control G to group. Control D to duplicate. Click on the X and move the X to the center of the page. Doesn't look like it is. We'll check off if it is. And we're going to rotate this a negative 45 degrees. And see how our ribbon matches up? It's a little bit elongated, but it'll work. So now we can delete this one. And now we're going to make it look like a ribbon. Wherever there are 2 lines crossing, we need to make like we did on the first video. That's just a minute little cross section. You know what? I'm still drawing in somebody else's file. So I'm going to make this a hairline. Be a lot easier. Whoop. So now I need to take away the line that we should not be able to see. We shouldn't be able to see that line. Now we're going to do the same thing here, 2-point line. And like I say, don't go too far, because you don't want to go too far, but you want that to match. You want to snap it to the node. That doesn't look perfect, but we could always change it if we wanted to. This might look pretty good, I think. We're just going to make it look like a ribbon. So now on the bottom side, 2-point line. And all I'm doing is imagining that if I had this ribbon, I wouldn't be able to see that. See how the indexing line stopped it? I don't really like that bump right there, and we can fix that. We're going to go from here to here. Take that line and delete it. Sometimes you wish you hadn't made so many lines, but it'll be worth it in the end. See, I'm not going to the apex or close to the apex, so let's go a little bit closer to the apex. There we go. And now that bump won't be so bad. That looks a lot better. Just one more. But we're going to get rid of those lines that were a little bit bumpy. And we're good. Now, I don't like this line bump right here. So what we can do is take these two lines, well, I'm going to have to ungroup it. So go to Arrange, Group, and Ungroup. And I'm going to grab, I got to go off my subject. I'm going to grab, maybe I got to ungroup it again. Break curve apart would be better. And see, this is two different lines. So what we want to do is shift select the other line. It's not letting me do that. You know what? We're just going to move this down manually. Just kind of, there's more than one way to do it. You should be able to join that. I just don't like that abrupt stop. Now, normally I draw a rectangle, but I'll have to because we've got a box around here in case it does leak. I really like this orange. So I'm going to select all these parts of the ribbon. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a little shadow. So we're going to grab the first one, get the interactive fill tool and go upwardly and put a little darkness here. You can also just double click and it'll come up with that window sometime. I don't know that I'm going to do anything to that one, that little bitty one. And this would be a good one to put black on both ends. And then we're going to bring in that burnt orange, get it pretty close. But I don't like how sharp it is, but we can fix that. So I'm going to take this black and just kind of move it out. It's still too sharp. Woo! I do that all the time. We can always move this handle too. I'm going to call that good. You kind of get the idea, and then we're going to go here. And I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to put black here and then put that orange here. Because that's really what it's going up underneath that side. This one's kind of going like under, well, it's actually going over. So I would maybe put dark here. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's thundering in Central Texas right now. And there's many ways you could do this. We don't want so much black. We're going to just put black there. Whoop. Just drag a black. We don't want too much. You can always go past your subject. This would probably be a good one to, no, it's curving that away. And then this one, the same thing. Now, because we matched up the lines, everything should work. So let's do this. Let's Control G to group that. Let's Control D to duplicate it. Double click on the rotation and put it in the center. You just got to make sure you're there. So I click off of it and we're there. Now I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D, all the way around. Now I'm going to get rid of our lines. You could do this, hold down the Alt key and select both those lines and hit delete, and it'll do everything. Now let's look at it with a black box. Take away the indexing lines. If I was going to do it again, I would make the ribbon a lot thicker. And you can see the one I did not put a darkness to, but it just depends on how the light's going to look. Pretty cool project. Hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.